Hey guys, welcome back to Factory Rack Garage. So I want to pick up where we left off on the Nova after we did the undercoating. The undercoating all turned out really well. I'm pretty happy with it. If you guys want to see that video, I'll post it up here at the top for you guys to check out. So what I want to do now is I want to start with all of our seam sealing. And I had to go through and put a bunch of patches in on this car. They don't really make anything. I mean, they make inner fender wells for this car. They don't make outers. And it was just easier for me to just do a bunch of small patches on here than to replace the whole inner fender well. But so let me get in here. So as you can see, I replaced that whole outer lip. So that's kind of what I want to get seam sealed. I want to seam seal anywhere that I did any welding, and of course your main seam here. And then where I put the new trunk in here. So basically your general spots. Put the new trunk in here, so I'll be doing this seam here. This was actually a complete floor pan out of a 68 to 72 Nova that I retrofitted in here, but I bought it as a whole pan. I couldn't fit the whole thing down in here, so I ended up just cutting it in half. So that's the only reason that there's a seam here. But so any of these seams here I'm going to redo. Then I had to, the back is a little bit different for the 68 to 72s, how the spout comes in. It was real close, but I had to fab up this little notch area for my spout to go up in to fit in the correct spot. So I'll be doing all these seams and stuff like that here too. Same thing on this side. Now on this side here, I had to do the exact same thing. You can see where I welded in a new outer lip right there. Now on this side, I actually had a donor car that I cut that out and put it in. So this side has a lot less little cuts in it here than there is on the other side. The other side, when I did it, I didn't have a donor car at the time, so I bought one of the 68 to 72 outer, or a whole outer wheel well here, you know, thinking that it might be pretty close. But on the earlier Novas, if you guys know, they actually kind of almost have like that half fender skirt type thing on them. So, but I bought it, it was cheap to see if I could get it to work. It is not worth it, guys, in my opinion. I might as well have just fabricated a whole new one in here, and it would have probably saved time, but it's done now. That's why I actually changed up on the other side. I ended up getting a donor car for that. So this is the seam sealer I'm going to be using. I usually use a urethane seam sealer, but that stuff usually takes so long to dry. So one of the channels that I seen this on that I really liked was Joe Daddy's Garage. He did a really good video on his, I think it was his Mustang that he was doing on how to do it. And I really liked this, the idea of this seam sealer. So I went out and actually bought this kind here instead of using the urethane. This stuff is supposed to dry a lot quicker. So that's kind of what I wanted. So this is what I'll be using, and then I just got one of these brushes here, just a little 1-inch. You buy them from Amazon. I think I get mine from Harbor Freight. I got a whole bag of them. I think come in packs of like 50 or something like that. And I just cut the end of it off a little bit, so it's just a little bit stiffer, but not enough that you might as well be using a stir stick or something. So that's kind of what we're going to be using. Now I know a lot of people will use, you know, the tape method. You can use that where you just tape up to the lines. Where you would tape up just to the lines, maybe leave just a little bit in here. But with us being here, we're actually going to be painting over it with the undercoating here. So I'm not really worried about it. I'm just going to get it, I want to get it into the groove here, and then on these right here, just want to paint over them and just get them smooth. That's all I want to do. And we're just going to paint over them. It's going to be just fine. You know, when we do, you know, this area out here, when I'm ready for it, I'm not quite ready for it right now, when we do this area out here, we'll go ahead and tape it off really close so we can get it just into the crack here. But on the inside here, I'm not really worried about it. So that's where we'll start off, guys. So this is basically what we're going to do, guys. Just dip it in there, get some on your brush. And we're just going to try to make sure we get it in there best we can. And then just kind of do a nice little smooth over like that, and that should be all we need. So when you get into these areas right here, I like to try to, like shove that up in like that. That'll really help seal that up. Just kind of give it a, that kind of goes for the same thing like I did around all these edges here. Just kind of work it up in there. So far I'm really liking this seam sealer over the urethane that I use. Okay guys, I think that's gonna just about do it. It wasn't a very long video. I just wanted to do it on the seam sealing, kind of show you guys how I did it, what I do, what I used and stuff like that. So this was a brand new can when I started. I'd say we used, you know, about a third of it. Really impressed with it. Like I said, the other stuff that I used to use is just it's like a urethane seam sealer. Takes forever to dry. Like I'd literally have to have it out and fans blowing on it for seems like a few days before it would even cure enough to do anything with. So this stuff I really like. Basically I started here, gave up a little way, came over, went over. By the time I kind of came back over here to check a couple things, it was pretty much already, you know, had a skin coat on it. So really happy with that. So I know it's not perfectly smooth or anything like that, but it's going to be underneath the fender well. I'm going to go ahead and paint over all this, so it's really going to be fine. We got all of the well up here done for the gas spout. All the insides of here. This was our little patch we put in when we did our undercoating. And we made sure we got in all the little seam that goes around the best we could. Just kind of scrape the brush in, kind of smooth it off. Should be just fine. And we still have these big drain holes right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a bigger round circle that's going to go in here. And I'm going to basically put some seam sealer in here, put it on there, and put a little bit of seam sealer back around it. Kind of similar to what they would do from the factory. So, and then I did these areas back in here that I had to do a little bit of patching up in here and stuff like that. And I still have a bunch of seam sealing that's got to be done. I just wanted to get what was underneath the car done so I can start putting the brake lines and gas lines and stuff like that done. Get them out of the way so we can get this back on the ground, get it a roller. So this is the, you can't really tell because I've already painted over it, but this is the rubber or the urethane that I've used. It's not terrible once it all dries or whatever. I don't know. I really like this stuff so far, so would definitely recommend it. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys got something out of it. If you did, let me know it down in the comments. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.